if one thing's secretly obvious about the words that were preserved, they are that God is secret. God hides. God doesn't just reveal himself to the animals in a public way, in a generic way. That's the obvious error of the religious groups. That there's something wrong with God being secret. He doesn't really want to be secret. He's being kept from revealing himself by some other force, maybe the devil. That God would rather just reveal himself and everybody know him and accept him. But he's being prevented from that by this evil, evil God, the devil. That's one of the basic presuppositions of Christianity. He must be, because he wants everyone to come to him. According to Christianity, that's why they're out trying to missionize the world, trying to convince everyone to come onto their side. But the words that were preserved tell a different story. Yet the story that they tell is secret, and there's no clearer definition than that is in Matthew 13, where Jesus is speaking to the crowds in riddles, similes, parables, on purpose so they won't understand, because he has deduced from the words that he either read or read in the synagogues that God is secret. Yet the secret God revealed himself to the Son, and the secret God told the Son what the words mean, elucidated them in a secret way. And this must be true because at the time of his going out into the world, what is recorded in these 4 Gospels that were preserved, he's the only one who knew what he knew. John also, he and John. So they must be secret. And then he verifies that they are secret by saying this to those who were chosen, this little tiny group who were waiting for him, being gotten ready for him to come. And then he came, and they recognized him. They were gotten ready by the preaching of John. John said he was coming, he was coming, he was coming. He was preaching to these men, these tiny little group who were chosen. And also the word from that secret God. The secret word was also working with John's words, because that secret word lived in John, and then it lived in that tiny little group, so that when the one came, the one who was to come, did come, the Messiah, they recognized him. He said, we found him. We found the one who is to come. But there's always this assumption of an explosion of revelation. Because that's what the humans always want. They always want it to be a public thing, but it never was. Even from the beginning, it wasn't a public thing, even though it was. A chosen nation who had the law that made them different than everyone else was public, and it wasn't public because it wasn't given to everyone else. Only this tiny little group came from one man, which is another one of the points of what the words say. But the overall comprehension that has to be maintained is that the words talk about a secret God. In the beginning, there was this talking snake. It's a metaphor. The words are, as Jesus was explaining his message, in metaphors, in similes, in riddles. He wasn't explaining it right on out, because he didn't want to. So the entire set of words can be considered as metaphor. Riddles, similes. So what is the talking snake? It's not a talking snake, it's force of power. It's what challenged. It's what the story declares man became bound to, which is a very simplistic way of describing the condition of man, not in terms of some abstract conception of what sinner means, but as man bound to the voice that lives in him, that tells him what to do, which is declared in the words. When man was bathed in an animal hide, it's another thing. So it could be literal, but it's not literal. It says something. It says something secret about man that man doesn't want to know. That he shares the nature of the animals, of fear and of hiding. Because that's God's purpose. Not that God had another purpose that's being thwarted by some other evil god. Because his purpose isn't that every last one of the humans should know him. And it isn't that he wants to reveal himself to every last animal. He doesn't want everyone to know them. If he did, then things would be different. He wouldn't have chosen one group to put his revelation into. A group is a metaphor.